Hello. Oh my God, it looks like some of you made it home. Did they let you out early? Or did you not have school today?
No, the only class we have is this one.
Oh my God, I'm so glad.
Oh, I'm not sure if the other people they have clinical, but I don't think.
Okay, I was just thinking, oh my God, these poor students are gonna have to then wait on campus, and it makes the day longer, and it's always nice to be able to like sit at home. And I'll say more when people start to sign on, but this is I made, I think, pretty clear. This is orientation. I'm not going to be teaching you. I did the first lesson already, but I'm, you'll learn. I'm a talker, so I have to stop now, or I'm going to explain everything before everyone's here. But I'm excited to see your faces. Okay, so oh my God, you guys are you're on time? Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. Thank you
Thank
very much. And I think we have two Amandas in this class, so this is like I think a first for me. All right, and you're both in the same screen. That's awesome. Okay, so just so I'm clear, because I didn't count, there are 60 of you, correct? Okay. Sometimes things happen, I know, in first semester and whatnot. And so we have 60 participants. I know this sounds so, I've been doing this for 7 years, but, and I'm very good with Zoom, but I don't count as a participant. So if it says 60, that means everyone's here, right? I want to pick on somebody. Denise. That means everyone's here. If it says 60, okay. Perfect. All right, well, let's get started. I want to, again, it's for Friday night, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to say it verbally. I am recording this. I really hope you don't hang up, but I am recording it. Oh wait, how is that possible? Because a couple people had plane flights. I guess anyway, regardless, originally a couple people were gonna miss because they had already pre-planned something and had like plane tickets and whatnot. So I am going to record this, so just so you're all aware that you are being recorded. And I will post this for you guys if you ever wanted to refer back to it. I don't think you'll need to. I don't do any test questions from what we're going to talk about today. I just want you to leave feeling hopefully like okay, she does, maybe at first sight, like, does she know what she's talking about? Why is she here? Well, what I will say is, they could have hired somebody else and they chose to change the entire schedule. That sounds very egotistical. I'm not trying to make it be, but I was very excited because this is actually a class I've taught since COVID. Um, but if a tenure comes in, I'm not tenure there, I'm tenure at Mission College, they can have the class, but they always give it up. So I don't know why you guys are just so scary to them and mental health, or I don't know what it is, but you know what? I don't care because I'm glad to be here. So thank you for the flexibility. I think you'll be happy in the end of this and the class, because you're all going to pass unless something you have to leave the program. I've never had a student fail. I always like to mention that. It's not because I'm easy. I think it's because, and I've asked, and I will introduce myself, by the way, I write everything down. I do have ADHD. If you can't tell, I'm very of a lot of energy and I'm very excited. Hopefully that does not annoy you. So I apologize in advance if it does, but it tends to keep people awake and engaged. So when we're learning all the fun stuff and the medications and all of that. Okay, so first of all, I just want to, before we even get into anything, does anybody have any questions? I mean, hopefully I'll answer all of them, but anything that you just are dying to ask. I know it's weird on Zoom. I hate it. I did this last week because I'm in DNP school. I think I've mentioned that. I'm so sorry if I repeat myself. I'm only teaching, I think, like 7 classes this time, but it's still like, what did I say to which class? So, which leads me into, before I forget, repetition is my biggest thing when I'm teaching. So I have a very specific reason why I'm doing something, and there's I will continuously say there is a method to my madness on why you turn in assignments on a certain day. You guys are a little bit different because of the way we're doing it, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but hey, might as well get it out so that you guys can get going and have fun. And I may have something due at midnight that I lagged on a little bit. I'm trying to get a course point. I'm like, what does this mean? That's another story, but you guys, it seems like we survived that. And thank you again. I would say this is the of course you're going to tell your friends now because I've had a lot of your friends. But very calm. I usually would have gotten like 27 emails from that. I don't mind if you emailed me about it and you were nervous. Totally fine. I would be too. But yes, there's definitely a method to the madness. I think I'll leave that and tell you because I do, as a student, I like to know kind of like my instructors teaching methods and kind of the what's behind it and expectations, all of that stuff I think is really, really important, which will lead me to the expectation, meaning what are we going to do today? I like to know that because that kind of shows me, okay, what are we going to talk about? How much time am I going to be on Insta instead of like listening to her, that kind of thing. Brevity is not my friend. I'm getting much better at it since I'm getting closer and closer to my graduation and I have to interview patients. I need to listen to them and me not talk constantly. But this is orientation, so we will do the following. I of course will give you some information about myself. I didn't type it because I knew I was going to see you. And wait, did I post stuff? If I did, I'll give just a little glimpse of who I am. And I think that's important for instructors to do, not just personally I don't know if clout is the right word. I always say that, but that sounds like a narcissist, but I don't mean it to be, but clout, like, hey, she has experience. She's been working in the mental health field with a variety of different types of individuals and populations. That will be very, very short, I promise. And then I'll also talk about, I wanted to tell you it's 3:09. I have 4 dogs. You will hear about them often, and for fun, I will, even if you got it wrong on probably your final, you'll get a question to name one of them just for fun. I try to just throw like, let's do like life is short. Let's have some fun while we're learning. It's 1 point, and I do offer 5 extra credit points in this class. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. We're not supposed to per the BRN, so I call them bonus points. And I actually ask questions. I'm asking you a question. So for example, one of my dog's names is Violeta. I call Violet or Violeta. She speaks Spanish because her breeder spoke Spanish. So she you know what I mean? She understands it better than English. So I'll teach all that. But the reason I'm mentioning it is because they're gonna go bananas. So I use the word bananas because I really am trying to, and this is part of my orientation, especially for my clinical groups, group 1 and group 2, and for everybody. We all go to clinical. Crazy, the word crazy, it's so kind of ingrained in our culture, and we don't really mean crazy usually. Maybe sometimes we do. So I really try to break that habit. So you'll hear me say bananas because that was like the only word I could think of. So my dogs are going to make a huge fuss when he comes home. I just want to pre-warn you. I don't plan on going at the latest unless there's a lot of questions, of course. And then if you want to go and I'll stay and answer questions. I mean, between 4 and 4:30. I just can't imagine us going longer than 4:30 because we're not lecturing. What I'm gonna do is give you my little intro right now. I just wanted to warn you about the dogs that are out right now. Madison, Lee, and Jacob James. You know what I'm saying, and I'll say it over and over. And then I want to talk a little bit about definitely Canvas. We're going to open Canvas together because I'm sure some of you saw it said 5-point quiz and I'm sure had a little bit of oh my God, what does this mean? So I want to explain to you a couple things about that and the school's policies and how I've somehow got through the loop because I don't believe it should be all about test taking. I have that philosophy. Not because not everyone's a good test taker necessarily, because we do need to learn how to be a good test taker, right? Second semester, because we have to take that NCLEX. Which is why you'll notice we will be doing lots of NCLEX questions together because they're incorporated. And I don't take points off if you get it wrong. So it's kind of cool that you get, I hope. And I also did work for Kaplan, so I always forget to say that. So that I think is like maybe hopefully a little bit of an advantage because I can hopefully help. We don't just go through the question, we actually break it down. It doesn't take a ton of time, and I give you tips and tricks. And a lot of my students have said that has been extremely helpful. Okay, let me go back to me. All right. Whew, sorry, I've been out in the rain. I'm still like my hands or my sleeves are wet. So I was like, oh my God, it's like 10 minutes until I have to be online. Alrighty, so who am I? Oh, okay. I'm Amanda. You can call me Amanda. You will notice, I think I've mentioned this on my signature when I'm writing. I usually write Miss A because at Mission College, that's how they address you. If you want to call me Miss A, call me Miss A. Yes, I did tell you guys this. If you want to call me Amanda, call me Amanda. Sorry. Come on. Okay, my apologies. You can call me Amanda. Miss Amanda. Hey, tap my shoulder. I'm okay with that. Miss Kite, you don't need to call me that. So my last name, I know it looks like it has an N in it. It's not Knight, it's Kite. If you personally or culturally or just as a human feel that that's what you are comfortable with, that's okay. It's just I'm not used to it. It's just weird to me. So, okay. As I mentioned before, I need to really sit down and count this. I've been a nurse, I guess, let's say 14 years because we like just got a new year. So that would be 14 years. I have primarily worked in mental health. My first year, so I did a lot of steps. I started as an LVN, and then I did my bachelor's in human services with concentration of counseling and business because I always knew I wanted to open something. I wanted to do something with the homeless population. I just knew something. And I thought that would be helpful. And you don't have to have a bachelor's in nursing because I knew I was going to get my master's. So I said, well, let's do something else. That might just my journey, right? We all have a journey. And then I did my RN as well at Mission, but that's different from you guys. As you know, you're doing BSN and Mission does ADN. And then I decided I wanted to work. So I worked in a residential alcohol and drug facility, very small, very bougie. And you'll hear me say, because we will talk about addiction in this class, which I personally think is so important because a lot of programs, they either don't talk about it or skim over it. But we will have part 1 and a part 2 of addiction. So you'll get a really good idea and all of that. While we're on that topic real quick, I just want to let you know some of the main topics that we're going to do. I'm not all about that history. I love Florence Nightingale. I love history of stuff, but we don't have that much time. I mean, truly, I mean, we do and we don't. I'm lucky, like with my VNs, I only get an hour and 5 minutes to teach. So it's like, we're all generalists. Well, you guys are considered generalists, right? You're learning about mainly it's med surge, but and then you get the OB and all of this kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you can come out of being a generalist. But I don't expect you to leave this class a psychiatrist or a nurse practitioner in mental health. That doesn't mean you're not going to learn a ton. So that's another thing that I will often say is what I try to do is pick, okay, what is the NCLEX? What is important? I hate busy work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing 4 to 5 hours of eSIM. I again have my own opinion about that. We would do like maybe 4 of them, like 10 hours. Because I do find that there is certain things in there that are useful and we can really tie them in. And like I said, I know what you guys do. Hello, hi, I'm in school. We do the same thing. I mean, and I get why, because there is no time. There's no time. I mean, okay, so I'll stop there. My clinical, you're lucky you can do some VSIM while you're with me in clinical. Sorry. Ranjit might let you too. Is Ranjit he's doing this time, right? He's my work husband. Nope. No.
So is, but he hasn't contacted us yet.
Oh,
So we're
no,
in
he
the
won't.
dark. But he is the clinical instructor for the VA.
Okay. I'm actually glad you said that. Oh my Ranjit. Okay, so Ranjit and his wife actually, Rania, who she's not teaching this semester. Um, Ranjit will not get a hold of you anymore like he used to. So he works at the VA until the school does it. And I try really hard to I don't have a filter, so it's really I really try to like you'll see me stop sometimes and because I don't want to gossip. I usually do a no gossip thing and have you sign it, but I don't do that anymore. But that's one thing I'm glad why you brought up because I just thought of it. So he will contact you, check your emails, but you can't go to clinical till you guys know the VA how it is. Number one, it's an awesome experience. I teach there too in the mental health. For another school, but he will contact you when the badges are figured out. The school now will only let us do it. Usually that's why I was like, are you guys onboarded? Like, what is, there were just too many cooks in the kitchen this beginning of the semester. So please take a deep breath. You don't look stressed, but internally you might be. If you have Ranjit, he will get a hold of you. Just please check your messages. And I'm told not to stick my nose where it doesn't belong because I always do. You can always ask me about it too. If it's been like, I mean, we're getting into like week 2.5. Can one of you like let me know? And I'll help. He already you should hear us talk. We yell, we don't talk. We like but we're like really good friends. Okay. I'm glad you asked that. I think that was very helpful. Any questions so far? We're already like an eighth of the way done. I know that probably sounds like a lot. Or a little to some of you, but okay. Who am I? Okay, just summing it up. Yeah, drug and alcohol. Okay, we're talking about addiction. So yeah, I've worked with in the methadone clinics, and we will learn about them. We will not fight. We will not debate. It can be a sensitive topic, such as like abortion, for example. Because my philosophy is this: throw stuff out in the air that's like, true. And I will always let you know if it's my opinion, evidence-based, like I'll let you know. But I think it's important to know what is a methadone clinic and things like that. So I've worked, I technically am still there. I can't leave. I love it so much. It's actually more than that now too. It's harm reduction, meaning I don't want to see if I start teaching I won't stop. So I'll just let you know it's harm reduction and abstinence. If you know what that means, great. If you don't, you will. So I'm still there. It's not just dispensing methadone. I do a lot of consults and I you know I just love the population. I would say 70% of my population is homeless. And I just stopped working at their pregnancy center. Just done a lot. Worked at El Camino for 7 years, just left, I guess. Again, I don't gossip or talk about places where I work. But during COVID, it was, we were just being asked to do a lot of things. I just didn't, personally, I just didn't feel were ethical. So I didn't, I stayed until I just felt like I can't do this and I miss it more than anything in this. It was just the best thing ever and I miss it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, hello. The one I always forget. I opened a residential, and when I say bougie, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll tell you again. It can be bougie or not bougie. The treatment, it does not mean one is better than the other. It just means that, and it doesn't mean about money because it could be insurance. I just want to make that really, really clear. And it's not that because I think I'm bougie and El Camino and this and that. No, I love working with both populations. I think it's fun to work with both and not just one. I love variety. That's why I have 1,800 jobs, because I like variety. So that And then I got into DMP school, so I had to sell it. I mean, there was just my portion is still open and thriving. And then right now I have my own, but it's closed until I
Yeah, I
get.
can't even really hear her.
Who, me? Uh-oh. Deanna? Deanna. You guys heard that, right? I'm not like tripping.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear?
Sorry, my internet's really bad and
Oh,
my computer unmuted.
okay.
I'm gonna text you in the chat.
Okay, yeah, totally fine. If you have any questions, and I'm gonna post this lecture, this thing. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, it's closed until I'm done with school, and school is now my main priority. DMP, gonna prescribe, gonna do detox, just mental health, help the world. I don't know, who knows? So that's pretty much me. I have 4 dogs. I'm not married. I I love teaching. Oh, I'm I'm an instructor too. Hi. So I've been teaching about 7 years. At sorry, I always want to call you guys USF. SJSU. COVID was like 2020. I know it's COVID-19. Whatever. About 4 years. So I've been with you guys for about 4 years. Mission College, 7. I guess 6. I don't know. We fight about it all the time. And I'm full-time there and they're LVN, RN, and then you guys. So I get all the variety of the different, and I teach when I do mental health, it's the same. It's just on your scope of practice and your level. So what I mean by that, obviously, well, not obviously, but that doesn't mean that, oh my God, it's going to be so much harder for you guys than everybody else. No, absolutely not. And this is your second semester. You're still getting like to know what the heck is going on. So I really take that into account. Just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. And I will talk about that in just a few moments. Once I open Canvas, that means we're going on through everything. I just want to make sure I don't forget anything here. We'll talk about that there. Review Canvas. Hate busy work. And if we were in person, I would have you raise your hand who looked me up on Rate My Professor. I didn't even know I had one. And then who knew, because I got I think like 12 texts from other students and they're like, oh my God, you're teaching it again. And I'm like, what do you mean again? It was 1 semester. And we're on recording. I don't care. But I mean, students talk. So are you glad I'm your instructor? Based upon maybe other things. Okay. I hope that you feel that way the whole time. I am not perfect in any way, and I'm so glad that I said that right now. Please, if I ever offend you at any moment or time, please talk to me. I'm a human being. I may say, like, for example, I just want to give an example if that's okay. So my boyfriend, he's Filipino. And I made like I'm not a racist joke. It was just funny. I was like, I just love my little Filipino. And that was it. To me, that means it was nothing. And it was relevant to the conversation in class. Because I think we're talking about Filipino food or being a nurse. He's an LVN right now, just got into the RN program at Hartnell. Yay. I used to work there too. But you can't like date your students. That's against the law, just so you know. But that may have offended somebody, let's say. And if it does, please come talk to me because that is not my intention whatsoever. Same thing with you guys. So I always say this, we are a team, all of us. Someone has to drive the bus, so I drive. Someone has to, but we're a team, which leads me into another thing. Please do not mistake my kindness for weakness. Now that does not mean I'm mean or I feel I'm very flexible. So that's where I'm going with this. If you have a test, I mean, I know certain instructors, like I love that Dr. Wood, she'll actually send me when she's doing her tests. I do my very best and I do see something in the chat, so I will address it. Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it. So let's just say you're overwhelmed with Aussies. Oh God, we're being recorded. I keep forgetting. But I mean, come on. Yeah, those stupid heads. And I get students sending me the what is it when they mess up? Bloopers. Oh my God. You guys are hysterical. Because you can't pause it. Why can't you pause it? You're not videographers and you have to tape yourself. Anyway, don't get me started. So let's say 1 week you are just, you have a test coming up. So the five question quizzes, no. And you'll see why. No. Number one, that's the loophole of why I don't have to give you so many tests and quizzes. Because you only have three 20 question quizzes. I give you a study guide for everything except your five. I know this is all over my canvas, but you have the 3 20 points quizzes with a study guide. You get, and you do it on a computer in class. If you need a device, let me know. If you have accommodations, let me know. I've never had a student, which doesn't mean that there's anything if you want to go and take, except for maybe your final, use the accommodations. They didn't feel it was necessary, but you let me know whatever you need. We'll make it happen. Okay. So okay, accommodations. Sorry, I'm reading in the chat at the same time. So those 3 quizzes, the 5-point quizzes, and I put it, and I'll show you when I open the canvas in just a minute. I make sure to do my very best to be super, 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 super detailed. And again, I'm so sorry for all the emails, but I was just trying to imagine myself being you guys at home thinking, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? And I just wanted to hopefully ease some of that. And hopefully I didn't inflate it and make it worse. So, but I feel like we're in a pretty good place right now. I know I feel much better. Because I'm like, what is this? What is that? I only did VSIM once. So VSIM and course point, we're just putting to the side. I'm not even going to worry about it. Honestly, I told Allie I'll call her in a week and then we'll worry from there. If it were up to me, we would just drop it all together. It's not up to me. So, okay. Let's see here. So I hate busy work. I like quality over quantity. I hope the assignments that you've seen so far, you see that. And one of my methods is I like you to, it's a little different here, but you'll notice for schizophrenia week 2, even though that's technically our off week. So sorry, but not sorry. I'm glad you're home, hopefully, or somewhere cozy. Today would have been our first lecture. Actually, no, I don't lecture ever on the first day. Therapeutic communication, I always have you do on your own because we build upon that. We talk about it the entire time. And that's what I was mentioning earlier was, okay, when I'm pausing like this, I'm trying to think, how do I politically say this? Because I don't want to be offensive to any instructors. Certain instructors for mental health. So when you're going into clinical, so a lot of people are like, why do you start with schizophrenia? Well, why do you think? I have students going into a lockdown. We're not locked down, but we still have patients with schizophrenia. And I focus on the process of the disorder. So we go from schizophrenia to depression to anxiety, bipolar. That's where I like to put my focus on. Again, not that the history is not important. This time I am going to do something a little bit different because I always like to switch it up every semester, and then maybe take some stuff out that I don't like. And I will put maybe a couple little things, but last semester they didn't even, dang it. Let's put it this way. It's good for us to communicate as faculty, but I think this is okay to say. I mean, nothing, it was unintentional because as soon as I had mentioned something, it changed immediately. So I felt heard. So there you go. That's a good thing. But they didn't even get into the disease process, nothing about a medication. How can you make the clinical connection? And that's huge. At least, I mean, in my opinion and what I've seen in students until I think it was like week 10. It was gonna be week 10. And then I intervened and then it was fixed. So that's why I focus more on, okay. And I do it the same way every time as far as what's going on in the brain, where like what part of the brain is being affected by this diagnoses, what neurotransmitters. Now again, you may read in your book that in for example, schizophrenia and addiction are my two favorite to teach. Not for any particular, and they both have a lot to do with dopamine. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But I just find them very fascinating. Not that I don't the others, but what's going on in the brain. So for example, you'll read in the book, let's just say that there's like, off the top of my head, I don't remember, like 4 or 5 like different neurotransmitters. Well, I'm going to mainly teach you about 2 of them. Dopamine and serotonin, because those are the 2 most important and most pertinent to not only the behavior, but how the medication works. So why I just try to not overwhelm, again, because we are generalists. And a lot of the student, I mean, we just do so much better. And that's just my opinion. And please, if you ever have any suggestions or something that, again, talk to me. So did you understand the whole flexibility thing? If you guys are overwhelmed, sorry, I do this sometimes. Now, when I'm lecturing, I'm pretty linear. When I'm just chatting, I am not linear at all. I would I'm definitely ADHD, mania, and anxiety look very similar, which is another reason mental health is very hard to make a diagnosis. We'll talk a lot about that too. I hate that sound. That means I'm getting an email from Mission College and they want me to do something else. Okay. So any questions before we get to the bread and butter? So you feel comfortable? Hopefully, I mean, I've been told that I'm very approachable. I will say no. I mean, I won't always just say yes. I will say no if it's like, dude, like you're asking me the day of if we can move our midterm. I mean, no. Every once in a while, if I just notice like you're all like look like you're about to have a meltdown, I'll say take your 5-point quiz together. I don't expect this. I'm just kind of letting you know. And then I'm going to hopefully say one thing that's going to hopefully make everyone go, ah. The last class I taught at, I've never given anybody lower, well, no, you guys have never earned, meaning you guys are doing the work, lower than a B in my class, in this class. I teach other classes like at Mission, but in my mental health classes at San Jose State, I have never given not even a B minus, a B. And again, I took my curriculum to all of my managers and said, am I just that good? Are they just that smart? What is going on? I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like shortchanging my students, and everyone said everything looks good. So I hope that makes you feel, get an A in this class. I mean, I know they say C's make degrees, but if you want to keep going, you need to get good grades. So this is not the class to not get the A in, right? Because I feel I really make it easy to understand. That's what I've been told. How about that? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay. Are we ready? We're gonna share the screen. And we're actually getting through this pretty quickly. And I'm not really trying to rush. I love like seeing your faces. I know but I am going, oh, some of you look familiar. I was just gonna say we were there for her first semester. Of course you were. Okay, so let me just share my Canvas with you. So on here, you're gonna see some things that you've seen published, but I'm gonna explain what it actually is. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. You guys can see this, right? Okay, I see some heads moving, so that's good. Okay, the syllabus, you know what? I just moved it to the 15th. I can't make it till I have more information. It is what it is. I don't think any of you are devastated over this. I mean, Is anyone devastated? Let me know if you are, and we can all therapeutically communicate you through that. So the main ways that I would say teach is through what I call board work. And oh my God, I've been told that we're out of that stupid ghetto classroom with you guys are like B106 or what classroom is that? Has like asbestos on the wall. And you have to like, it's like a row of like 50. Oh my God. The first day I walked in, I'm like, how the heck am I going to teach in this class? Like, and it was difficult, but we finally made it work. To where, because I like to do what's called board work. I take pictures of it so I know what I taught you. And then I ask you guys to do the same thing. So no matter where we end up, take a picture of it because I will help give you hints. I'll put stars next to things. And that's where the 5-point quizzes come in. So let me just go right here to show you. So we'll go through a little, I mean, more than this, but I just want to show you. See right here. And this is, and I even write if it's where we are. So it says in person. So I'm going to try to do that too, because I think that sometimes it may get confusing because I didn't know we weren't going to be, basically they don't have a classroom for us. We're homeless. Classroom wise, sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. So we should be in person and have a classroom by this day because this weekend I'll be in USF. I like literally sleep there, like get a hotel. I just can't do the back and forth thing anymore. So you'll look down here and this is where it basically tells you what's going on. And then it has all your assignments underneath. So it says here on 2/16, we're in person. There's a 5-point quiz. It'll be under quizzes. It's in the beginning of the class. It's 5 questions. I'll give you guys 7 minutes to do it. Now, did I say I was going to change this rule? No, I'm not. If you don't come to class, you can't take the quiz. Let me think a little bit more about that because I only used to give a 2-point quiz, but then I got a little bit of heat from it. So I had to rev it up in order for us not to have to do a bunch of like, for example, when I say on my final, it'll say 100 points, but that doesn't mean there's 100 questions. And I know some of you hate that, but I don't want you sitting there wasting your time. I know what that's like. And I want you to learn. And the more that I feel like that's my job, I'm there to guide you. I don't want to confuse you. I don't want to like, I mean, yes, this is school. It's going to be stressful. This is kind of, I mean, like most medical terminology, it's like a foreign language. You're going to learn a lot of new things, a lot of new concepts, and this tends to not be everyone's favorite class. Oh, well, let me say that over. Their favorite topic. At least that's what my instructors say, but I disagree. I think a lot of people are fascinated by it, and since I've been teaching, people have been. Now, this 5-point quiz basically is how I do it is the 5-point quiz is based upon the week before. So that's going to be this week. What does it say right here? Instructor. Oh my God. I've been talking all day. I'm so sorry. Instructor lecture. So I'm going to put a lecture here very, very soon. It's not going to be 4 hours, I promise. Since we're not in person, I will verbally give you kind of this is important or something like that. Because on the 5-point ones, I do not give a study guide. It shows me that you were paying attention in class, and it's kind of a motivator to pay attention in class because again, we're all human. And the lectures that I do post are not, I would say please don't quote me, are going to be about an hour and 20 minutes, no more than 2 hours. This class should be 4. But we're not here technically, we may not even have lectures. I don't plan on doing a lecture, just so you guys know, every single week. I don't have to, but it's like our first lecture. We need to get going. I don't want you guys to get behind. So does that make sense? You're not going to have every time I'm not there. That doesn't mean that there's even going to be a lecture. So there won't, if I do give a 5-point quiz, I will go up into the announcements and say, this is what I want you to, because I may still give it to you. I do nothing on the lockdown browser. You know, that thing that watches you? We do nothing on that. You do everything on Canvas. I'm going to tell you this right now, and this will be in your syllabus. I can tell if you go off of Canvas, if you open another browser. I'm going to tell you also, you can, is there another, like, hip to the game? Hello, I can look it up on my phone because I'm looking at you. That's up to you. So I encourage you not to do that, but you know, yeah. Does that make sense? But I do look. So when, and please know that for other classes, I'm just trying to help you. They can tell you if you're taking your quiz and like you want to open another browser to look up an answer on like Quizlet or something, they can tell and for how long that you've been gone. They can't prove you were cheating unless they put it in their syllabus. If done, this is suspicious, you'll read mine, suspicious behavior, blah, 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 and could be considered cheating. So, does that make sense what the 5-point quizzes are about? So, and they are the most basic ones. I'm not trying to confuse you. They are very like, for example, what did I just, okay, therapeutic communication. True or false? Can silence be used as a form of therapeutic communication? True. I mean, you guys probably, just started school. It's true. And it's blatantly there if we were to do it. Thank you. Exactly. It's blatantly there. In my, I do a video on that. I really like this video. Because it's just very concise. And it says it right there. So if you miss that, and plus you're reading, it's the first one. So I try to make the 5-point ones very basic. Yes, there might be a fill in the blank, but if there is, it's going to be something that we have done over and it's been repetitive. And what I mean by that, because I've said I love repetitiveness. So I love board work. I love Quizlet. So the board work and Quizlet and the videos that I show you in class, they all interlock. And they all go together, but we're all different types of learners. Plus you get the study guide. Plus I give you, where are those things? The study guide eventually. I put resources here and I'm gonna, normally I'd have them listed, but I'll open up things. For example, let's say we watch Nurse Mike. I'm sure you're familiar with him. I mentioned this in, I think, one of the videos. Let's say that day we were watching something on antidepressants. So I know that on the NCLEX that MAOIs, and if you don't know what that is, that's okay. That is like a 25% of the time, if you're going to get a question on medication for mental health, it's going to be on an MAOI or like lithium, like the medications that the whole point of the NCLEX is safety. So, and those two medications any medication can cause death, but those two specific ones can. So I will even put the video on here for you. Now, my favorite part, and I thought of this, is I actually make your notes for you. I'm trying to show you. So I don't post them though yet. So I actually will put down while I'm lecturing. I mean, I would, add in some stuff. So you take a picture of the board, depending on where we are. I know this is very hard to imagine until like we get into it. I'm just trying to show you how much support and how much I'm not feeding things to you. It probably sounds like I am. I'm not. But I mean, there's a lot of information and I don't want you wasting your time, but I give agenda notes and those notes look very similar. I take those, and then my picture that I make for the board notes, or if I do a lecture, I would take that and then Quizlet together. And if we open Quizlet, you'll see right now, I think there's like 80 on there. And maybe 1 through 15 have to do with schizophrenia. And then the others have to do with depression. And then so we put all those together and you have 4 different tools that you're using to study, but they're all the same thing, maybe just said in a little bit of a different way. Trust me, it works. I don't know how it works. I don't even know how I came up with it. But I hope that helps any anxiety that you're having. None of you look anxious. Maybe you're drinking at home. I don't know. What time is it? I mean, no judgment. Okay. From here, so we'll do the syllabus. I have you sign it because it's like a contract between us. Please don't sign it if you don't believe in it or you have questions. Ask me, please. I'm not making you sign it. Talk to me, please. Quizlet, I'm just gonna show you. We're here. Might as well. Let me know if you have any issues. It works on my end, but it's also my account. None of my other students right now at Mission are having trouble with it, but let me know, because if I don't know, then I don't know. And that comes down to, I've said this, but I'm gonna say it again. I think I said it somewhere. If you notice I miss something like a Dropbox, or you're allowed to text me personally. Like I don't mind that kind of stuff. I mean, don't ask me like, hey, what are you having for dinner? Or what time are you walking here? You know, that we're not supposed to do that. But if you canvas me or email me, oh, there's no Dropbox for this, the quicker I can fix something that's not going to cause more stress for other people, the better, right? And for yourself. And I triple check, but even though I triple check, I'm usually doing like 14 things at once, like you guys. So, okay. So I just want to show you really quick. So we have 100 words actually. And basically ask, and we do this together. And I ask you, and this is usually this will be in person. It's up to you, but this is evidence-based. If you can, so I have a lot of hand gestures when I ask questions. I actually had a sub once and they thought that you guys were cheating. And I'm like, no, that's like, I do it. So sometimes I'll have you'll know, like when we talk about hallucinations, visual, gustatory, auditory, what is hypomania? And then most of them are, one worded, but this one is a little bit longer, but I'll ask you this question. And when we're talking about bipolar, don't you think this is going to be important? Yes. So of course we'll start like at the beginning and then it goes in order. But I mean, you can, MDD, major depressive disorder. I mean, that would probably be more of a question I would ask on the 5-point question. Do you see what I mean? How direct it is? And I will tell you that in the lecture before. And if you have any questions after this, please let me know. Okay, now how do I get out of here before? Oh, chat. Just want to make sure I have one more. Yes, absolutely. So, wonderful question about the VSIMs. I know that some instructors do like 90%. I want to kind of find out more about the benchmark because like we use ATI at Mission. I want to play around with it a little bit. So what I don't want is people going on there and again, it takes so long. Can you guys give me a little bit? I'm curious of ideas. I think 90 is a little high. What are some of your other instructors? I trust you to tell me.
I believe in our last skills class, it was an 85% for Joey's.
Oh, I love Joey. He's darling. About 80. Okay, let me, I want to write this down. That's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, 80 was my first thought because I was like, this seems like more, ATI is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's hard. I'm like, a 75 is considered like a really good like benchmark. And I also, now that you've mentioned this, because I have to incorporate this into the grading, this is not going to make or break your. So I'm human. I don't know if your other instructors curse. If it offends you, please let me know. I'm not like gonna say like bad, but like I am not gonna let this. Oh, now I don't even know where I was gonna put the word. Ruin your grade. So I'm not sure how much percentage of it. So how I do my syllabus is going to look very different than like all of your other instructors. Unless they make me, because I have to send it in and I think they want us to do it the other way. I hate doing it like that because I like doing it like this on Canvas, but they want us to do it like how I do my Canvas, but do it on that. And I'm like, anyway, long story short, it's not going to make or break your grade. May I ask you guys that as well? I trust you. About how much, I mean, if you had 45 hours of VSIM, how much of that would count as your grade? Like, how do they usually grade you? I'm curious. I'm gonna ask them, but I would love to hear from you guys. VSIM.
I think in Gero last semester, each VSIM was like 2 points, but the VSIMs would take like at least 3 or 4 hours each. And there were some that were multiple parts, and that one took like at least half the day of sitting there, and that's if you got it like right continually.
Oh my God, because
So,
they need to do it again if you don't get
yeah,
the, oh
you
my
didn't get it. And a lot of it was like really, to be honest, was like really nitpicky on like you didn't
yes.
answer the exact way that they wanted, so you would like
Yeah.
have to redo it even though you got it and you got the gist. It was just like super minute detail.
And then that becomes busy work once you, because you understood it and now you, okay, yeah, and I'm seeing some, okay. All right, this is very helpful. Thank you guys. Again, like I said, this is a team effort. I definitely want you to learn from it. But I always tend to kind of do things different. So I'm gonna see what I can not get away with, but like I really want it to be pertinent, not just, hey, you got to do this, and then you have to like present the case, and basically, I'm not gonna like. I'm being recorded, but I'm gonna say it, and this is my personal opinion, so I'll let you know that too. This is my opinion. When instructors have you do constant presentations or things like that, it's because they don't want to. I mean, what are they doing? They're not teaching. They don't have to. It takes me hours to prep for lectures every time, but maybe not quite as long now, like at least an hour. I mean, a prep, because it matters. I don't want to walk in just talk. I want to like have an agenda and like know exactly what I'm going to do that day. So this is very, very like this is very helpful for me. So thank you. And I do want to check the time. It's almost been an hour. I mean, we're really summing. I mean, we don't have much more to go over. I'm happy to give a break, but and just if you guys need to go to the bathroom, just go to the bathroom. I don't think we need a break because we'll it's only been an hour, but see, I almost said little man, my boyfriend. He's about to come home, so I can feel it. But I'm surprised because usually they know and they'll start barking. It's so weird. Like before he even gets home, their dogs are so smart. Okay, let me see. Sorry, my internet. No problem. Okay, so give me some time to think about VSIM, how we're gonna do that. But I liked the comment. Do you go by Mary or Mary Catherine?
Normally Mary Catherine, but Mary also works.
I like that. No, but I like it, Mary Catherine.
Thank you.
But I don't want you to feel like you're in trouble. Mary Catherine. So I like the like, oh, 2 points for this. If you get that, like honestly, I'll probably give you the first one. Let me just think. I need more time to think because I don't want to say something. But again, this will not make or break your grade. That's the same thing for this. So if you are sick and we have a 5-point quiz or something like that, I hate it. I hate it because I just feel if you're not there, you shouldn't be able to take it because those in class are there taking it and they can't look up the answers. However, at the end of the semester, if that one quiz that you missed, and I mean, people like came to my class and I was the second class, like 20 would come to the first class, med surg, and like 95% of people will come to the second class. I guess that's a good sign. So I just please, if you do miss that one, and you have so many points in this class, and that's why I give you assignments again, because I like to not have it be all tests and everything based upon your testing skills. That doesn't, in my opinion, make it all learning. You're learning and you're listening. I'll know how you're doing. And if you're struggling, we'll work together. Come to me. Please let me help you. There's something else to say. Okay, so let's say you missed this quiz. So this quiz is going to be on what? This 5-point quiz will be on what topic? Schizophrenia. I know it's hard to like talk. I'll just say it. Sorry. It'll be on schizophrenia and psychosis because I know it's the week before and it's going to be based on the lecture. Or if I did not do a lecture that day, I will tell you, focus on assignment 2. Did you see what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna like let you know so that you're not like, oh shit, I've got like I got 2 chapters here and all of this and 5 questions. That's to me, I don't know. I just don't like that. In this case, you don't. I will tell you, it'll be in the lecture, okay? And that also helps know that you listen to the lecture. But again, I'm gonna probably post total maybe 4 lectures in this class. Then I'll see you every other week. Now at the end of the class, let's say that now I know your name. Mary Catherine comes up to me and she's just on the border of an A and a B, and that 5 points that she missed because she had a family emergency or something happened. I will let you take that 5-point quiz. And that has happened. It happens probably one every other semester. So good. And remember, you actually do take some of the at home because I'm not there every week, right? Okay, does that make sense to everybody? And it's there. And I actually even put it, look, based on week 2 lecture. So I try really, really hard. So please read this part. This is your friend. Okay. So far, do you like how this is set up? It's, you cannot see this. So once we go over it, some of them I'll do in person. Some of them I'll do it like this. I highly recommend. So I do reuse questions. So for example, when you're done taking some quizzes and NCLEX questions, and I will, if you can't see it because pictures, I highlight it and they will be highlighted, all the right answers, even though we go over it. And I will put that even in your, let's say for your midterm, I'll say review NCLEX questions, review all quizzes we've taken. And you'll probably see like, let's just pretend I gave you 75 questions. You'll probably see like 20 questions you've seen before. And that's not to be nice or easy. It's because it's repetition. And it's like, do you remember it? And I picked the questions very meticulously, like the ones that again, that can cause death and that I think will be most pertinent for the NCLEX. So pretty cool. I hope that helped as well. So these I basically keep here for me so I can easily cut and paste them because you will have NCLEX questions on everything that we talk about. Oh yeah, it's home. Hold on. Everyone's gonna go berserk. We're almost done. We're almost done. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Maddie Bear. Maddie Bear. Maddie Bear. My apologies, you guys. I already told them. Okay, can you just touch them so they don't bark? You guys all match. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Let's continue. We're almost there. So, yes. So the NCLEX questions are very good practice. And the only one that you will have points on, and it's not because it's my thing. Yes, the substance use disorder ones. I just wanted to pick one, but you can look up the answers. I want you to look up the answers. And I chose that one because, again, I think we don't learn enough about it. So this is the only one that's going to count as points. Usually I assign it for like 2 or 3 points. They're not like a ton of points, but you can look them up easily. And unfortunately, some people still don't do that. And it's like, why not? It's not that many questions. Just so that's the only one. And I will write a note at the top so you know. So I basically, this is for me. I don't publish this, so you don't see this. I just use it because it makes my life easier. The VSIMs, we're just gonna put this over here. And I think I'm gonna do a slash course point. I don't want to use course point. What is the benefit? I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Why? Like, I give you assignments. Why do we need what? Did you guys pay for it, or did you have to pay for it? Okay, so we'll use it then. But okay, I'll find. I think there's VSIMs on there too. I'll make it work. So I might go slash VSIM, or I'll make its own little thing. But I just don't like having, it's like so much of VSIM, and then you have course point, and then you have my class and my stuff and the way I do stuff, and it's just a lot. That's a lot. So I'll do. Oh, I got a chat real quick. Or a I don't understand the question. I'm so sorry. Does that mean, oh, prep use has NCLEX questions? Is that what that means?
Yeah, I mean, like the prep use, if you putting like giving us all these NCLEX, I think the
Yeah.
prep use is the same practice portion
Oh,
of the course one. So I
okay.
think, you know, it's the same.
I need to
honestly.
play with it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's good. Okay, so what I'll kind of do what I've been doing. I'll go in and I'll look and make my best judgment as, you know, and of course, if you have opinions, please, I would love to hear them, or what you may have thought was helpful in the past or not, email me. Because I'm going to work on this for about 2 weeks. So you don't have to worry about that for a little bit of time. I already talked. You guys know Allie, right? She's just an angel. Dr. Alice. I call her Dr. Allie, but so she's going to help me a little bit to become a little more acquainted with all of that. Because I don't want to teach something that I don't know what I'm doing. So, okay. Your study guides will go here. I make it very clear. I put the date of what it is, all of that. You will know which one is which. I do not post study guides more than 7 days before you have your either 20-point quiz, midterm, or your final. Because remember, I don't do the 5-point questions. Unless I'm just giving you hints, and then I'm putting them in announcements. Any questions about that? And I'm verbally explaining it because we don't have the syllabus, because I don't have enough information yet. Okay. Resources, like I said, I'll put them here. There's quite a few. There's some that we will never watch together, but I may say for a 5-point quiz, I might say watch the 2-minute dystonia ataxia video, and it's going to be on. That's what it's going to be on. And then this is how I will always, I try to keep it like I'm sure most of your instructors, very, very organized. Week 1, therapeutic communication. What day it started on. You're not in person. If there's anything else I need to say, I will always put week 1, week 1, week 1. I'm very anal retentive. Of course, when it's due, all of that good stuff. And the hope is that when you come to the next class, or if we were in class all the time, you come, the reason, like right here, this is due the day before we were supposed to meet in person, but I guess we're not. So that you have a foundation, then I lecture and we're interactive. And then you start to just continue building on things. And a lot of this comes together. I do want to mention, and we're going to be done in like 8 minutes if anyone's curious, which, yeah, yay, I've stayed on track. I think I mentioned this in one of my announcements, but I really try to, I do have my key things. Like I said, how I like to teach with the board work, the Quizlet, and again, the agendas that I'm going to post for you. And I'll say that too. I'll say review agenda, and they really do all complement each other so well. Having a moment. I lost it. Where was I going with this? Usually in class, I have a person And then they're like, oh, you were talking about that. I don't know where I was going with that, but it probably wasn't that important if I'm not remembering, hopefully. Or if I do, I will remind you. Oh, that's what it was. Different types of teaching. So we do watch a video. I like to watch it together because so usually we watch it in two. I don't know how well maybe with us technically our class is 4 hours. That's a long time. And that we did actually taught I taught in the summer, this last summer so that they could graduate because they didn't get this class that you guys are having right now. Something happened, I don't know. And we did 4 hour classes. We usually were done within three. I know it sounds like just like, oh my God, what, 3 hours? But we were done in like 3 hours and it really did go fast. It went fast. If it helps, I have an 8 hour class on Saturday. And that I know. Um, so, but it goes fast because I, and the instructor's not even that interesting or like doesn't have any like, she's getting to the point she needs to retire. She's, although I very much like her, but you know, doesn't have the energy and all of that. So hopefully that helps. My whole point of saying all of this is we will watch a movie. If you haven't watched it, has anyone watched Call Me Crazy? It is so good. And we'll talk more about it, but it has different vignettes and it's not a document, not the documentaries, they aren't good, but I mean, it has like Jennifer Hudson, whoever, I forget the guy who wrote it. It is such a good movie. I show all my students this movie. And it's, I mean, we'll bring tissue that day because people will feel triggered. And again, let me make sure to say this. If you ever feel triggered during class, please take a moment because I don't know what you've been through. You'll learn a little bit. I'm not gonna like completely overshare, but I'll share things. I mean, obviously there's probably or not obviously, but probably a reason I went into mental health. That there is. Definitely. So I'll share things that are pertinent, patient stories that are pertinent and of course HIPAA protected. But yeah, I like to do that. We play Jeopardy. Oh God, need to call security. We play, I don't know how competitive you guys are, but we will, to help with learning. And, like we might do a midterm Jeopardy review. And, then I post that Jeopardy and I'll tell you straight up, hey, I'm gonna take 7 questions off this. So I'll post it and then you guys have that. I would love to play Kahoot. I've never actually done it. I don't know why. So I'm gonna try to do that too. So I try to not just have it be the same thing. I love to lecture because I just do. And I know as a student, to be honest, I really love, I'm that student. I would like to do more interactive things, but I just know a lot of students don't like to, okay, let's get in groups and do this. That doesn't mean we will never do it. There is one thing that we will do. It's at the end when we do personality disorders where we get in groups and it takes, it's like a, well, to do it, maybe a 20 to 30 minute activity, and then you just present it. So I try to hit every bookmark basically. Okay. If that makes sense. I try to keep it alive. So as you can see, I stopped at week 3 because I just wanted to get you started and whatnot. I'm a pretty fast grader. I don't know if you've noticed or not at this point, but things don't just sit there. So I can see when things need to be graded, and it just makes me bananas to see things that need to be graded. So I do my best, and as a student, I know how that feels. Just be like, okay, do I have an A or do I have a B? Because depending on what you scored me, or so that is all of that. Let me just review my notes real quick. And so we talked about, remember, we're gonna have 3 20-point quizzes. No papers. We do no papers. You have enough, not because again, you read enough papers in other classes. Let's focus on this. So, and anything that you're doing, unless I say, which I haven't ever done, I'm not looking for APA. I know that you know how to do that and you're doing that in other classes. Just respond. I want to hear what you have to say or respond to something. So I won't write it every time now. So we have no papers in this class. We have no presentations in this class because you all have a million schedules, and I know in your other classes that you have presentations. So I just take those out. Okay. I hope that is helpful. Oh, we're gonna chat and then we're gonna wrap up. Should we read through the book first? I love that question. That is such a good question. And I'm so glad that you asked it. So the question is, should we read through the book precisely, or will you give us assigned pages? So I won't give assigned pages, but this is what I will say. Is that, so I'm gonna get off of sharing my screen. Is that okay? Or any questions or okay. Okay, perfect. Just so I can see you guys better. And again, I will be posting this recording. I don't know where, but you'll see it. So this is what I say. I won't tell you what pages to I'll say, well, except for so in schizophrenia, I say please read, I think it's chapter 23. I can't remember. So I just say read chapter 23. So while you're reading it, read it. Don't my advice or guidance is to not sit there and stress and highlight every word and oh my God, because I'm going to tell you what you need to know. I would fun read it. I know that sounds weird. But try to have a little bit of fun with the reading and read it, maybe take some notes and understand it and say like, okay, if somebody is, I'm just making this up, let's say you're drinking, oh my God, you are reading about alcohol use disorder, and they're talking about how certain dangers, and one of the number one dangers are seizures. So that would be something I would note. Of course, you're not mind readers, so maybe you don't know what I think is important. So basically I'm saying don't memorize it. Just read through it. And if you feel you want to take notes on it or, oh, this looks interesting, but I'm going to let you know on the study guide what you need to like go back to. So please don't sit there and like, if something is supposed to, you could read through it naturally and like enjoy it in 45 minutes, please don't spend 3 hours putting stickies and hearts and taking notes and doing all of that. Does that help? That's actually the first time anyone's ever asked me that. So I didn't exactly know how to answer it. It was a great question. So hopefully that, now if there is something specific, I will let you know, because I saw it today, because this is a new book to me. And I was like, oh, cool. And then they put their meds in a different place. So that's why I added them. And I said, do page 152 through what not, it's not that many pages. That doesn't mean you need to sit there. This is the better way to explain it, and memorize every medication. It's just you even looking at it and being a little more familiar. And then I'm going to teach you. So in every week that we're learning about something, let's say we're learning about schizophrenia, you're going to learn probably about 7 to 10 medications that can help with schizophrenia. When we're learning about depression, same thing. Anxiety, same thing. So by the end, I'm hoping that you will be familiar, not experts, familiar with probably about anywhere from 40 to 50 medications that you'll feel comfortable if I said, like, for example, gabapentin is my favorite one to always give an example. Its classification is what? Anticonvulsant. That's why it was made. That's what it was intended for. But can we use it for other things? And that is called, does anyone know what it's called if we use something for a different purpose? Just curious. Yay! Good job. That's excellent. Yes, off-label. So in mental health, I would say like, and I'm making this up, but probably like 65%, I haven't actually looked it up, of our medications, maybe even 70, I would say are used off-label. And you'll see that. So like gabapentin, what do we use it off-label for usually in the hospital? For neuropathy. But in mental health, it's like an umbrella drug. We use it for so many things, for insomnia, for anxiety, for agitation. And these are things that we'll talk about. So I will, so please, yes, read through the medications, but I'll let you know which ones you need to recognize on a test. And then I'll put it on your study guide, and then you'll hopefully come in feeling like, okay, I didn't have to stay up all night. I'm not having palpitations. It's going to be okay. And if you have questions, you can ask. I have said everything I really want. Oh my God, I can't even believe I was like, oh, we're definitely going to go over. I'm going to come off as a liar on day one, but it's 4:17. I don't want anyone to feel that they cannot ask questions. I know that's a lot, and I hate doing it like this through Zoom. I wish we could have met in person the first day. I just feel it's easier. But how are we feeling? Like we're gonna survive?
I have a totally unrelated question, but it's related to class.
Yeah.
I don't normally come to school at 3 o'clock on Fridays, so I was wondering if you knew how the parking situation is
Mhm.
at that.
It's lovely. So normally now at 3, that's usually, when did I teach? I taught at 11. But honestly, I always would stay after and like talk to students for like probably longer than I should have. Well, because the topic is really interesting to certain individuals, but Friday is the easiest day to park. I don't know much about downtown San Jose other than I only go there to teach. So I park in the parking structures. Um, I wouldn't recommend this, but I only got one parking ticket and I never bought a pass. I'm not recommending it. Guys, oh my God, I still haven't paid it. Thank you for reminding me of that. But no, it's it's empty. There's very little people on campus. Definitely not as overwhelming, but you guys normally park in the garages too, right, guys? Or can you buy a parking pass? Do you even have that for you? Or like as an option? Okay.
Yeah, semester parking passes.
Okay, they do. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely, especially at 3 o'clock, I would imagine it's gonna be even more like ghost town. So if anything, and yes, I'm gonna stay after. I was gonna tell you, I'll stop recording, of course, but I'm gonna stay after if there's people that want to talk, but some want to talk in private. Will you be posting this recording? Okay. Yes, I will. Can we talk after? Oh, why am I reading out loud? Sorry. Just have a few questions. Yes. So I'm gonna stay after. Please let me know. Are there any other questions? I just kind of wanted to get you all together, look at everything, have a better idea of what's happening. I know it may seem a little bit like this, but I'm going to say it again. There's a method to the madness, I promise. And it comes together so beautifully. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, how am I remembering this? And how is this happening? And you guys are going to do great. Unless you do nothing, if you're like 65% present in your in your mind, I can't imagine you not doing well. But of course, you need to put some work in too. So I am gonna stay, but please, does anyone have any other questions that might be helpful for everybody else? Or just if you have a question, please ask. Or email me if you forgot, or you can text me. I just need to finish my case study.
So
And
question, are we gonna have more Zooms, or from now it's gonna be all one, every other week in-person classes on Friday?
excellent question. Thank you. See, these are things like I would have never even thought to bring up. So I don't plan on having any other Zooms because we are meeting. I was just told do Zoom class, first class, and I was shocked because Lisa does not like to do first class. So no, we will not be doing any more Zoom unless I'm told to. For example, let's say we don't have a classroom by the time we're supposed to meet again, then yes, we'll be on Zoom. But otherwise, it will be every other week in class, and then the other week you'll be at home, but there will still be work. And again, I will not be lecturing every time, you guys, that you don't have class. So please don't feel like you have to come on and watch all these lectures. Because I just thought that's too much, but I do need to make sure you get the information. Thank you for asking that. Thank you. Any other, sorry, so make sure a student's not texting me. Nope. Any other questions before I go and talk to other people that would like to stay on? Are you sure?
I placed it on the chat, but it's just a question.
Oh.
Besides assigned readings, provided lectures, and resources, is there a specific CUSIC note to focus on specific topic? I think you did mention it. Just wanted to go over it again.
I will let you know. So honestly, a lot of it is the homework, and then we build upon the homework. The main questions I'm going to ask you on tests and quizzes come from my lectures. So Quizlet and the board work. That's where I would say 90% of the questions come from. I'm probably giving too much away.
Thank you.
Oh, no. It's a good question, and I don't want to give too much away, but because I don't want you to not read. So this is probably the first semester, and this might sound weird. I've never taken a question from the book. I don't think I've ever even I mean, I read the book, I'll look at it, of course, and I'm so glad it's an ebook for me. But what I'm teaching is so similar, and it's the same concepts, and that's what I'm looking for is concepts. So still please read, because about 10%, but I'm going to tell you right now, whatever you're reading, I'm going to cover. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm still going to cover it. So please still read it, because you're only shortchanging yourself if you don't read it. Because maybe some of you get that foundation, then you're going to hear me say it, then I'm going to tell you what's important. I'm going to say, you guys, I will never ask you this, or I expect you to know this. I'm going to guide you. And until we kind of do it the first couple times, then you'll go, oh, I see. Okay, I see how she teaches. So hopefully in this moment, you're not feeling stressed at all, and you're feeling very, not coddled, but taken care of. That I'm not just gonna throw you in the water and say, good luck. That kind of answered your question, I think. Did it? Brenda? Okay, just
Did
want to
answer my question. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. All right, any other questions? You sure? Because I'm hungry. I still haven't had lunch. I know, but there's no time. It's actually sitting on the counter. That doesn't mean that I won't stay. Please don't rush yourselves. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Yeah, I can just not record. And then, okay, perfect. Okay, so for all of those who are not going to stay on to ask any questions, you are free to hopefully enjoy your Friday night. Don't drink and drive. You know that you will not get a nursing license, or it'll be much harder. Please don't even take an Uber. Call a friend. I'm sorry if you work for Uber, but the world is not safe. So sorry if you work for Uber though. Then you're a kind person that's not going to hurt anyone. So any questions other than that? Please do not hesitate to contact me, and we'll just get the ball rolling from here. Sound good?
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome, and I look forward to working with all of you guys. Okay, thank you. Good night. Thank you. Thank you.